Hello everyone, and welcome to my quick and dirty guide for the various game modes in Last Epoch. There are a number of different options in Last Epoch that can affect your gameplay experience. Central to these options is the concept of a shared stash. In certain game modes, your characters can store equipment in the shared stash, allowing alternate characters on your account to access those items. This is great if you pick up a rare item that you want to use on an alternate character. However, due to the way Last Epoch's game modes are set up, you may accidentally lock yourself out of the shared stash at character creation. So allow me to explain and clarify how this all works. We're going to start with the first choice you'll be confronted with when you start Last Epoch, and that is the online or offline mode. You can select this mode before the game even starts when launching through Steam, or you can select it after the game starts. The primary difference between these two modes is that in offline mode, none of your characters will be able to access the shared stash. Instead, each character will get their own stash. So if you want to use the shared stash among your many characters, you'll need to create your character for online mode. Within offline mode, there is essentially two versions to that as well. True offline mode, which you select before you begin the game, and solo offline mode, where you can still see the chat of other players if you so desire. With the exception of the chat, these two modes are functionally the same. After choosing offline or online mode, you'll select your character's class. This is when you'll be presented with the game's difficulty choices. There are three. Normal mode is exactly as it sounds. This is the normal game experience. Hardcore mode is exactly like normal mode, with one significant exception. If you die, your game is over. You can resurrect your character and continue playing, but it will now be in normal mode only. There is no difference, though, between the number of mobs and the difficulty of the monsters in normal mode versus hardcore mode. It's simply about dying, and that's it. Thus, the only reason to play hardcore mode is to see if you can get through the game without dying. Then there's a third mode, solo challenge. Solo challenge is basically the same as offline mode. A solo challenge character will have their own stash and will not have access to the shared resources from other characters. As you can see, this is a bit redundant for offline mode since those characters already don't have access to the shared stash. Finally, once you've selected offline or online mode and you've selected a difficulty level, you can make the final selection, environment, for which there are two choices, cycle or legacy. Cycle is basically Last Epoch's version of a season. Legacy characters cannot play in cycles. Instead, when playing a cycle, a player must create a new character. That character will be active for that cycle, for however long that cycle lasts, typically 3 to 4 months, at which point when the cycle ends, the character is moved to the legacy environment. Legacy characters can play in the legacy environment as often as they want. Cycle characters can only play in the cycle they were created in and then are moved to the legacy environment when the cycle ends. The only reason to play the cycle is if you're interested in the leaderboard or if the developers release content that is unique to a specific cycle. So there you have it. If you want to play the game utilizing the shared stash, then what you want to do is create an online character with either normal or hardcore difficulty. And if you want to engage in the leaderboard, then make sure you're in a cycle character. If you just want to play the game in single player mode and don't care about using a shared stash, offline mode works just fine. I hope you find this guide helpful. If you did, give it a like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel. I'm Colors Fade, and until next time, happy gaming.